Greetings, fellow adventurers. Welcome to Talking Fae, myself's show. I totally f***ed it up already.
We're great at intros.
We are so good at the intros. Where we recap what happened in Into the Fae, a module that we're playing by Luke Hart from the DMLair. Links in the description below. Max is going to tell you a little bit about it.
Last time on Talking Fae. Yeah, so we met up. I forget the merchant's name. I'm really bad with names. Bakio Yakuza. Bakio Yakuza.
Bakio, I think is
No,
correct.
Bakio was right. That,
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
man. He had his portrait stolen by his grandfather. There were some competent guards. You did a really good job of interrogating them. I tried to be bad cop, totally failed. And we ended up down in the sewers. We uncovered some sort of dastardly custodial plot with all sorts of dead bodies. No, there was some undead that we found. And then we stumbled upon a secret little Fae dungeon where the mistress, we saw a visage of the mistress, the possibly main bad person. I don't know, the most
At
main.
least somebody a little higher up the chain.
God love Tony, and Gord.
Gord is learning about the trepidation that comes with coming to a large city and knowing nothing about it. And I love Gord.
And you for the dogs and the jerky.
I want to just cause a distraction. Oh, when
he smashed
he smashed our informant. Like, what just happened? I like the sense of mystery that he's developing at this point, hinting at bigger things to come. I'm excited to see what happens next. We're going to start a new thing where we recap what happened on the last session of gameplay. So we're going to give ourselves 30 seconds on the clock.
Oh, sweet
and
Jesus.
Max is going to tell us exactly what happened. Go.
All right, so I cleaned the glitter off of myself and all the gore from Tony Gord splatting the pixie, and we got out of the sewers. And then we went back to the cops. Illinsworth didn't go talk to the cops because Illinsworth doesn't like the cops, and Thelma gave Ben a hard time. But we got the reward, and she really does like Tony. And then they saw a little halfling on the way out, and then I saw that same halfling again, and it turns out it was the leader of it was Aretha Franklin, the leader of the fork, and we tried to we followed back to the cave, and
I'll probably pick up where you left off. Oh, shit, it's going. So all that stuff Max says happens, right? And so then we decide to get in good with the other halflings at the other bar. I forgot the name of it. But this other bar, we had to go there. They were being robbed by pixies. We staked out the place at night. And Illinsworth takes off outside following the floating cast because they're invisible, and we make it to their underground cave. Turns out they were working for this drunkard dude. And
yeah, not easy, man. Not easy.
Here we go.
Okay, so it started off like we're still down in the cavern, and there's the altar, and Ben really wanted to go check out the altar, but he only had 7 hit points, so it was like, I'm the scout, I'm the thief, so I decided to go through first, and then he was like, no, I have to go, it's the Fae, I've always been obsessed with the Fae, I want to go, and then shit just got crazy, but he got out of it, which was great, and we started going back to town, which was also awesome, but we had a lot of things to do, so we had to check in with people, we had to go see Aretha Franklin and give her back our coasters, but we only gave her back some of the coasters, because we still wanted some cash monies, and then we had to go to...
Time's up. Time to go.
Then I had to go to the, what's her face? What's her name?
Thelma.
Thelma. No, Thumpkins. We had to go to Thumpkins because I needed to talk to her in order to figure out where the guy who sold the ring, or who bought the ring from the guy that we were trying to track down, so that we can get a second ring to get to the Fae. And after that, we ended up going down to where Tom Hopkins went down to the Berry Grove, and then we dove into this lake, and we came out the other side.
Perfect. We nailed it.
Okay, so last time on Into the Fae, we had traveled through Teleport Pool to the land of rainbows and fairies. They fought an evil dryad and her enslaved plant minions, all of whom acted like theatrical romantic era knights. Eventually, you punched her to death, and then a night hag showed up. Oh no! So they ran away from that. Oh, yeah. You ultimately managed to rescue the elven kids that were stuck in the fairies and rainbows.
Time's up, my turn. So we rescued the kids. We brought them back. We sort of like stood guard for no good reason without going through the portal. We explored the rest of the cave. We found the last room that all the dead guards hadn't gone to, and then we jumped back through the pool, came back to town, had a laundry list of errands we had to run, talked to a bunch of people, including my own father, Jastian's father, Lionel Lysanthier, and that went super well. Gord has an eye patch.
And there you have it.
All right, so where we started was Jeez, I'm already gone.
Clock's ticking, Tony.
We got done with the tavern and we slept, actually, long rest for once, and then we made our way north because we had a lead up north to go check it out, and we got stuck with goblins and bears, and they attacked us on the trail. Gord was very confused and thought Max knew them for some reason, but he didn't. And then we continued on to the cave of some sort.
And in the cave, you found a fuck-mothering dragon. I had to adapt the module a little bit because you guys are level 2 and you were only supposed to be level 1 for this part, so I made it a little more dangerous. You found some porcupine people in the cave who were doing all sorts of spooky magic stuff, and they made the walls go rumbly, and eventually you managed to recognize those two owners, and what... okay, 7 seconds remaining. And then you won. It was great.
Okay, so we had just killed the dragon and looted the treasure, and we found a magical item, which was awesome, and we freed the hunters, and then we were heading up north because we were close to my home, the meadery, and so I was super excited to go get there, get a little R&R, and report to the boss since my letter got interrupted, and that sucked, and we get there, and we hear music, and we don't see any dwarves, and there's a big old party, a 50,000 gold piece party that is happening in my meadery, and that is not awesome, and so we go try to bust it up because, you know, we're not necessarily into fighting.
And now, it's me. Shit, I've wasted 5 seconds already. Oh, now it's 6 seconds. Now it's 7 seconds. Anyway, the place was festooned with satyrs. You guys peacefully convinced them to go home, then followed them home, and you had a wrestling match with a very drunken satyr. It was almost like a professional wrestling match. And you guys ultimately got them to apologize, and they didn't pay their tab, but they did give you a bottle with magic in it, and that is about where we left things off. Woo!
Go. All right, so we were hanging out, waiting to talk to the dwarven wizard that Lorbum Honeygut was going to get us, but he was going to be here for 2 days, so we were like, well, let's not hang out at the meadery for 2 days, especially because there was no mead. So we went back to town, back to Aeredale, and sort of did a little bit of a shopping trip. We got some more health potions, commissioned some additional health potions. We're starting to learn our lesson. We went to the blacksmiths, and then we went to go see the wizard.
And the blacksmiths were from the Thorn Shoe, which we liked. He was in half orc, super nice. He was going to do the cold iron for us, and the flawless blade. He was kind of a dick, so we just cruised out of there. Yeah, we saw Pin Pop. He made some puddin' pops, but they were awful. Then we headed back up and talked to the wizard. Figured out that one of the dwarfs was missing. The wizard let us talk to an archfey. Had 5 questions. Can't remember what the questions were, but then we finally tracked down the other dwarf. Went to a cave. Fought some more bushes. Saw some evil elf.
That's it.
People.
That's everything that happened.
Great, so we were right off the heels of the screaming mushrooms and that whole debacle, and I wanted to make friends, and Jassy wanted to kill everything because someone hurt him, and we decided to proceed through this big, massive mammoth cave, and lots of forks of the road, and we get to this waterfall, and I've got a great deck, so I'm like, let's go across the creepy ledge, and that turned out to be a terrible plan. Wasps and Ducati, there's all sorts of Maserati, and I thought I was being safe, but I totally wasn't being safe, and so we get through that situation. You save Ben's life.
And then we got to a door, and the door had 3 sleeping elves in it, elf people, vine elf people, and we ended up sneaking in amazingly. Gord brought up the rear. We killed all those 3. We went into another cave. We kind of set up another ambush. We killed those people, and then we ran into the big bad guys, and we were outnumbered, and I don't know what the hell happened from there. But before we did all of that, we met some chick that was in hiding that hid from her captors, and now we're trying to figure everything out. All right, so what happened was we just got done with the big fight. We rested for a little bit. We got back into the big area fight because we didn't get everybody down. Max used an invisible hand, cut all the sacks, got all the people out, and then we decided to try to find a new way out. We almost went to Piranhas, but we didn't. We went to a bridge. Bridges are bad because people attack us. I got caught in a bear trap. We had to move the bear traps. Then we found a sleeping bear, and then we...
Time! Okay, so after we found the bear, we backed out because we didn't want to wake, let sleeping bears lie, as I always say. Then, oh God, what happened after that? Then we found the vine thing, right? The vine thing, and then it grabbed Gord and just pulled him up, and we were all like totally screwed, and Max literally almost died. It came down to one roll, and then we finally used bear and cat sled to pull everybody out, including our unconscious patriot.
Okay, so it starts out, and Tony's got his ritual. He's got to get all gooey with the sap for the helm, the sap for the Lord, and we go to watch because we think it's going to be interesting. And Ben still smells, needs to take a shower.
Horse piss balloons.
Hey, this is my section. I don't talk during yours. And then we, Tony, it works out, and we don't really know what happens. I think he gets glowy, can't even remember. Then we go to meet dinner with Captain Timmy Syrup, and he tells us and has to break to Gord that, like, hey, baby, this cop is crooked, and that's
okay,
cool.
my turn. So we once we met with Timothy Syrup Maple Syrup, then we the next day we ended up going to a merchant's house. I really don't remember why. We heard about it from him. I think Timmy's told us that. So we go to this dude's house. His daughter is missing. And was playing out in the fields, and so we end up going to Gibenack, Tennessee, and then we ran into some goblins, and I think I'm out of time. Yeah, damn it. All right, so we were exploring the dungeon beneath Old Gibenack, and we found a whole bunch of crap going on down there. We had worked our way through. We found out there was a girl missing, and we got past the goblins, but then we started encountering other stuff. Gorman got turned into a frog. That was awful, and there was all kinds of trixies going on there. That was not super cool. We made it through. We got to this we sort of thought one room was the other room. But
so we got to the bridge. And Gord got scared.
Time?
Yeah, that was your time. And Gord got scared. So we were like, let's go over this bridge as soon as possible so that nothing bad happens. There's a door on the other side. We run right through the door, right into a bunch of enemies. And they're like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. So they attacked us. Worst rolls that we had all campaign pretty much for the first 3 rounds. Then we got stuck in a weird Mexican standoff with a...
they were going to kill the girl. We had to do something.
They were going to kill the girl. We were going to do something. And I think that's my time. And we'll get to the rest
that's
later.
my time.
Good old Gibenack, down where the meat is free, and we go down to the next part of the dungeon where we had to go through the portal to the Fae, and we get there and we find the creepy jester and Gorman, 4th party member, much love, MVP of the session, no doubt. Manages to put the jester to sleep, which is awesome, and we don't have to fight the other gray people. Still not sure why they're gray, weird, but we decide to walk through and get to the swamp, and we find the swamp, and we're kind of just wandering around in the Fae.
Time. So we're wandering around in the swamp, right? And Ben summons these totally trustworthy frogs who take him to the Frog Witch, give him a shortcut through a lizard man-infested mangaroon. You guys managed to not fight them. You jumped into the water and wound up at this crazy Frog Witch palace, and the crazy Frog Witch wants to talk. What? So you guys talked to her for a while, and you guys stepped down on more or less civil terms.
So we're leaving Ethel's Bone Palace. That's trademark Ben Jesse and going into Waterdeep Dungeon. And so we're not going to talk because there's frogs there, and we think that she's going to hear us through the frogs. So we don't do any of our plans, and then we just go back and we go to the lizard people and we give the lizard people back their eggs because that's what we do. We're returning children. That's kind of how this one starts. And we get the girl and we get the other girl, and then we go back to Aeredale, and we gonna miss everybody. And we take care of all our town stuff. We start setting up. We talk to Robin. That was a big conversation because we needed to know a lot of things. And we start our candy empire because it's all about the chocolates, and that's kind of how we're going to incentivize them to do away with the mind controls. And
So we did some other town things. We picked up all the carrots and the spear tips and the arrowheads. So we got some cold iron to throw at them fey creatures, which is totally dope. And then we said, hey, you know what? Let's go back and talk to Ethel, air quotes around that one. And we were like basically going to cut her throat. Turns out the person we killed wasn't actually her. And then we were trapped inside the Bone Palace as it slowly started to flood into the bottom of the bog. The Croaking Swamp, I think is what it's called.
All right, so we started in the Bone Palace. That's okay, we'll figure it out. We started in the Bone Palace. It is sinking. Gord decides to smash the wall to see if he can get out. It's too thick, so Ben shatters the wall, makes a huge hole. Water starts rushing again, and we all jump through the hole. We're all swimming up to the surface. I'm in really heavy armor, so I can't get to the surface. Max gets there first. Ben gets there second. While we're all getting there, we're getting like wrapped up and squeezed and brought down to the depths, and then Ethel gets there, and
indeed, there's like water weirds, and there's like weird frog monsters, and there is, they can't see that, and we end up killing the hag. It's real touch and go there, and then Robin Goodfellow comes back and helps us get back to the city in time because we are like 2 days out, and he's like, yo, dude, Aeredale is fucked, and so then we're like, okay, we'll become clouds, and we'll fly there, and then we did like magic cloud reconnaissance. I've never been more proud of Gordon in his life. He stole healing potions, straight up, Paladin 101, and then we get into the root cellar, and
it's going. So we woke up in a jail cell, having been blindsided by Timmy Maples and some gas bubble thing from the episodes before. Everyone was gone. Diabolical, by the way, Nick. So Illinsworth and Gord woke up in a jail cell, and they had to try to get out. Jastian was nowhere to be found, which allowed me to play as my familiar, which was hilariously fun. And I was Gorman, the dragon. Oh shit, that's all my time. Okay, go for it.
Well, anyway, a big black ooze showed up and tried to eat them. They got away. Gorman caught the scent of Jastian and chased him down through the dungeon. They Metal Gear Solided around for a while.
It was dope.
Managed to find the ritual where Jastian was in the process of being sacrificed to the queen below, and managed to, with clever use of illusions and beating the crap out of things with hammers, managed to kill them.
All right, so we had just rescued Jastian. We had to go deeper into the cave system that was sort of behind the altar lair, and it was covered in mucus. It was really gross. We had our panther from the previous episodes, and Max was riding a mounted panther, so he didn't have to get in the goo, and we were all stuck. We fought some all kinds of crazy mucus monsters and weird things that like shot barbs and horked up acid. And all there was very
and it was really, really difficult. I suppose I could just hold it and talk.
Okay.
And it wasn't very awesome. And we got our asses kicked. And then it got worse as good old Jastian's dad came to town. And we all know what happens to Jastian when Jastian's dad gets there. He pretty much just shits the bed. And so Ben was useless, and we did our best to get through. Gorman, poor Gorman, rest in peace. Luckily, he's a familiar, and you can just kind of get those back pretty easily. And then there's something with like soul sucking, and it gets. Let's do it.
All right, so we just got done with the dungeon, and we are saving the people that are in the mucus bubbles. And Illinsworth really wanted to get out of everywhere, but Jastian was like, no, let's talk to everybody in the mucus. So then we went up, and you guys grabbed a bunch of alcohol. You paid the stable boy to steal Lysanthior's cart. We went barreling down with Lysanthior's cart. We had a weird roll down window scenario with Thumpkins. We went to the Rose Thorn. We got all cleaned up, and then we slept, and then
oh god, and then it just got awful. And then Tia Paula's, and we took naps, and we came, and then there was this terrible nightmare that luckily you were able to get us out of. And then we woke up, and it was all sevens, like, what's in the box? And it wasn't anything good. And then we were like, oh no, what do we do? But what was in the boxes also has notes, and so that took us down to the sewers, and we eventually went down to the sewers with the Centaur Surprise Dungeon, and there's a snake altar, and we're not all the way through it yet. We're probably about a third of the way through, but we also found this portal into the Fae, but we have no idea if we're
done.
Go.
Oh shit, Centaur Surprise! We're running down the hallway, and then Dad, evil cloud magic and illusions, and there's another, and the troll, and I sneak in the door, and the bear trap, and then you guys struggle, and he gets up on the front lines, and that's never a good situation. You throw the spear, and I'm like running to just like pew pew pew, peeking arrows.
That's my turn. And then, so is this really all the same episode? I feel like that was all
last
happening.
two, man.
Right, because we finally got out of the dungeon. We were in this long hallway. That whole thing was happening.
You just recapped what I said. You just wasted your 50 seconds.
We jumped out into the
Okay. Anyway, we went to the Feywild, and there were a whole bunch of Fey creatures watching like, oh boy, I can't wait for Lucy to mess you guys up. But then some other people came, and they helped, and that was neato. So you chased her. She's flying in through a forest on a broomstick, and you followed her to a big-ass tree.
We got some help from Daggy. Lizard folk helped us with one. We went up into a tree. We fought a kettle monster. We went upstairs, and then I stabbed her with a cold iron spirit when Dumbbell showed up.
And Dumbbell became our friend. Yay!